this thing off, one of my favorite quotes is that we're just out here collecting stories. And that's how I've tried to live my life, and I really think my Uncle Steve lived his life in that way. I said earlier today, I think my Uncle Steve lived in a way that a random Tuesday in his life could have been the most wild day of someone else's life, because the number of stories he could accumulate, the things he could do in that time, whether or not they were embellished, you will never know, really topped any other person's normal day. My uncle gave me my first nickname that stuck, Double E. I wore it proudly on my softball jersey until I was about 13 when someone asked me if I knew it was lacrosse size, which I didn't, so thank you, Uncle Steve, for that. I got to experience a lot in life because Uncle Steve was my uncle that I wouldn't have experienced with my parents, basically because he took me into a lot of things that may have been borderline illegal or frowned upon. Probably one of my favorite stories was when Jacobs Field had opened. It was pretty new, and he said he wanted to go for a walk around the stadium, and I went with him, and we went down to the family-only section that had been reserved by a family that didn't belong to us, and they were having a reunion, and he went up and grabbed a plate of food and told me to get a plate as well, and I did, and he sat down at the table and he said, "How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. How's things been going?" We ate pretty quick, and he said, I'll see you guys later, catch you again soon, and he left, and I remember telling my mom, she said, "That didn't happen." I said, "It did, it really did," and so I could go on forever, meaning that I'm almost 40 years old, and from the day I was born, he loved me just like he loved all of us in this room, and so I want you guys all to share happy memories. He would want us to be happy and celebrate his life, because it was certainly a life well lived, and he never had a shortage of fun. So, to a legend.
Thank you, Aaron.
What's it doing?
I knew Steve, I don't know, 40 years. He and Mary got married in
He's been in our family for 59 years.
59
Yeah.
years. I was
59
one of these sizes here when he first came around. My memories are always going to like ball games or the horse track. He was always in charge of getting us away from camp to some other party somewhere else. We'd get to the ballpark and we'd sit down for an inning and hang out a little bit, and all of a sudden we had to move. Then we had to move again. Then we had to move again. And we did this one time in Municipal Stadium in old Cleveland, and the place was empty. I mean, there was only maybe 50 fans there, and we still had to move to the other. It was always trying to keep us kids happy. He did a good job.
I've been trying to think of a story that wasn't quite as like detrimental. Things that he did that he probably shouldn't have done. And so I'm going to put a lot of those aside. For those of you that remember, about it had
I want to nurse.
45 years ago, we had the canoe ride from hell. If anybody remembers parts of it, feel free to chime in. But I remember it well because Uncle Harvey was still with us, because he was pretty much in charge of it. He was leading the brigade, down Highway 212 from Atwood. And I was in a car. I don't know if it was with Steve or it was Don. I don't know who I was in with, but I think it was Steve because, well, I hope everybody knows where this canoe livery is, because Uncle Harvey's, he is 85, 90 miles an hour in the old station wagon they had. I'm not driving that fast, I'm not going to catch you, so we finally got there. Then we get there, and then we have to pair up two to a canoe. And everybody's like, who do I want to go with? Who do I go with? Well, I end up, of course, with Gordon. We all know Gordon. Most of us know Gordon. We'll just leave it there with that. But then I remember it was Beth and Mike in one. Beth and Betty. Oh, you were. Okay, so who was Mike with? It doesn't matter. Yes. So it may have been, yeah. Steve was definitely in a different canoe. I'll get to that in a minute. But it was, I call it the canoe trip from hell because I spent 4.5 miles of a 5-mile trip in the water. I was in a canoe with a bigger clown than I am, and he just decided, we're 10 feet from the dock, we're going to 10. So I was, I'm just going to hang on and float down the river. So you heard the story of me, You know, I was trying to get to the side so I could get, you know, the canoe is upside down. We're trying to flip it. So I found a log, I'm trying to tiptoe on this log so we get enough strength to lift it over. Well, I slipped off the log, went under, came up in this slime. I looked like, you know, like Sasquatch, green Sasquatch. Got them all laughs out of that. That stuff was nasty. It stunk and it tasted bad too. But finally did everything cleaned up and we're all going down, you know, and, you know, people are finally docking and getting in and we're, you know, people are like, where's my wallet, where's my shoe? Everybody lost everything on that trip. Beth, you were going along the edge there, and I don't know what it is, but you were looking over and a frog jumped in your face. Yeah, I remember that. That's what it was, because there was a sandbar in the middle and we stopped on that for a little bit. But, you know, everybody's like, oh, good, thank God this is over. You know, I'm never doing this again. And then we see the funniest thing, which is Steve and his partner in crime, Don. They're the last canoe coming down, and they are coming down, and they had water. I don't know where the canoe was, but they are coming down, and the water is up to here. You can't see the canoe. They're just paddling away, waving and all this. That's just one memory that always sticks. So, we're going to talk more around campfires about the other story. But that's just Steve. That was his personality, was to make us laugh and to, you know, there really was never a bad story or bad talk with Steve ever. It was always, you know, he would sometimes open up about things from the past that I don't know if he ever talked to anybody about, but it wasn't much. It was always about fun things that he did and how we did this, or our buddy did this. He was a good kid.
I want to, if I could, play and sing a little song, and the chorus goes, something that you bring turns us into a golden ring. This guy had the gift to turn us into a gold ring with a word, a laugh, a smile. Our family is a golden ring of love. Our family is a golden ring of harmony. Our family is a golden ring. Something about you will always bring our family into a golden ring of love. It's something that you bring. Something that you bring makes it a golden ring. Makes it a golden ring. And sometimes heaven opens up its arms. Opens up its arms with harmony. Another one of our golden ring of love is now a member up above. But he's here now in our golden ring. He's here when we sing in our golden ring. He's here when we sing in our golden ring.